guys, today we are going to do a part 2 of making that beautiful Prada inspired cake. Last time we have stopped on covering the cake with the ganache, and it has been chilling in the fridge for quite a while. Now we are going to do a next step, which is covering it with fondant. Of course, my hands as well as the surface are clean. The fondant has to be around 40 by 45 centimeters. That's how big I needed to cover the cake. Of course, I'm adding a bit extra just to be safe. So as you can see, the fondant at the moment is very hard, but we're going to make it pliable. I'm going to use for rolling the fondant, also putting under it and on top of it for it not to stick to anything at all. I'm going to use some corn flour, and to make it pliable and nice to work with, I'm using Tylose powder. For that amount of fondant, I'm going to use around 2 teaspoons. So at the moment I'm just trying to work with one piece. They are quite big, so I'm going to soften it up a little bit in my hands. The same I'm going to do with the second piece, and then I'm going to add those 2 teaspoons of Tylose powder. I've also colored it, so I've used this pale pink, and I've added tiny bit of violet, which is purple, right? Same thing. Now I have this rolling pin. It has some guides. These I found them very thick, so I'm actually replacing them here. I'm looking for one that is maybe around 5 millimeters thick. In the end, to be honest, I am going to remove them because that rolling pin isn't wide enough, so it will be leaving marks. So in the end I am going to remove it, as you will see in the video. Having these on, I'm gonna remember the measurements: 40 by 45 centimeters. Now I'm spreading quite a bit of that corn flour. I'm stretching that fondant and putting some more corn flour on top. As I said, we don't want it to be sticking to anything, so we are doing that. We are just spreading, pushing and rolling that fondant. It's quite hard, as you can see when the table is moving a bit. Now here you can see that the guides are gone. I'm just moving that fondant, lifting it up once in a while, making sure that it doesn't stick to the table. So now that I have achieved the measurements that I need to cover the fondant, of course I've added a bit of extra to each measurement just to be safe. Now I'm applying again loads of corn flour, and also I'm going to cover that rolling pin. And now every time that I expose some of the fondant from the bottom, I am applying again plenty of the corn flour. I don't want anything to be sticking all the time. And you can see that the fondant is really soft and pliable because it leaves marks from my hands, but not to worry, we're going to have it nice and smooth. So that's the cake. It just came out from the fridge. It's really important so that the edges and everything stays really nice and crisp. So now I'm gently unrolling that fondant, just placing it loosely, very loosely, very just let it fall. I'm not stretching it at this point or anything. So first thing we're going to do here, we're going to take care of the top of the cake, because that will be the most visible part. I have this kind of, I don't know, that tool is kind of like a smoother, or let's say that's a smoother. I'm kind of smoothing it, right, and getting rid of all the air bubbles. We don't want any air bubble forming there, because that will not look good. So here, as the sides of the fondant have stuck a little bit to the board, I'm lifting them up and I'm bringing them close to the sides of the cake and keep smoothing. There will be loads of smoothing happening here, so I am actually going to speed up that process for you to see. I'm just turning the cake, I'm smoothing. Now I have a knife. I'm going to cut off the excess of the fondant. I'm not going all the way, too close to the cake. I'm leaving maybe centimeter to centimeters extra, and I'm just cutting off the rest. Now the knife is not too sharp because I don't want to destroy the board. I don't want to cut through the board. So we're going gently. As you can see, I'm not even cutting all the way through the fondant. And as I said, there's a lot of smoothing going on. Now that I have smoothed the top, the bottom, I cut off the excess fondant. And now I'll show you how to do the crease. I actually forgot to film it, but I've just basically applied the pressure of my thumb, and I just was doing that all the way around, so that the sides were down where the middle was raised, and I still was trying to maintain sharp edges all the way around. So now we're going to go for making the top part of the perfume, right? The perfume cake. So I'm going to do kind of like a shape. I have some round cookie cutters, so I've used this one I think was the best size. I'm going to use it. I will just cut off the top part with a knife. I'm putting a little bit of the corn flour on it so it doesn't stick and it doesn't ruin it. I'm flattening it, that part and the bottom part, and gently pushing it out. Now I'm rolling it just to smooth the edges, and I'm kind of, as you can see, I'm tapping it down to make it as flat as possible. So that's how it's going to be. Really nice. So there it is. And now I'm going to do the really top part. So that is, originally it's black, so I'm going to use black fondant now. I'm adding to that also some tylose powder. When that fondant dries, it's going to be extremely hard. That's what the tylose powder does. So not only makes it easy to work with, but once it dries really hard. So again, I'm using that smoother just to kind of shape that piece. And I'm applying some corn flour. Don't worry if there will be marks, especially on the black fondant. Applying white flour, we can steam it, and all that dust is gonna go. So here I've already painted that part. I have used silver powder, edible, and then I've added a little bit of vodka. And now I'm going to show you how to apply the letters. These are edible image that has been cut out, and I have painted it. If you want to see exactly how this is done, how to do lettering, edible red lettering, let me know in the comments and I will do a video about that. But for now, I'm lifting up those letters because they were stuck. I've actually painted them so they are still wet. As you can see, my hand, anything I touch, it turns black. So have to be really careful. As you can see, my hands there. So because Prada has 5 letters and I want to start right in the middle, so I'm choosing to start from the letter number 3, right? The middle letter. So I started with letter A, and now I'm doing the 2 on one side and then the other 2 on the other side. That way I will make sure that it's really central. So yeah, just right in the middle. And now I'm going to do that second word, Milano. Now this one is giving me quite a hard time because they are really flimsy, really thin, and they are still wet. So one of the letters, letter N, ended up breaking in half, so I had to mend it, but we did it in the end. Now, as you can see, the letter N has been parted into 2. but nothing that can be fixed. So there we go, Prada Milano. And now we're going to do the rest of the logo, and I'm just tapping it with the other end of the of that tool that I'm using, just to make sure it sticks to the fondant. So here it is. So now we're going to do this top part. I'm trying to make two holes that go all the way through. Now in here I'm going to also use edible glue to secure those parts. Now it's important that this piece of fondant is not completely dry, so that we can put them, those holes through. I am using a chopstick, I believe it's called, or kebab stick, I'm not sure. If it's too dry it might crack, so we don't want that. Now I'm going to, as you can see, I am not going to put this round thing in the middle of the black. I'm going to put it all the way to one side because it's going to be resting on the board anyway. So I just found it to be nice in that way. You see, it's not really in center, but I think visually it's going to look nicer. And now we're going to stick it. I always do it that way, that one is longer, one is shorter. It's always easier to adjust. Of course, make sure the board is clean. And that is the final push. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so it is all done. Now what I have done here, I've just added some happy birthday message to the side, as it was requested by a client, and I just love it. Look how beautiful it is. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Anything, I'll be happy to help you there. Okay, see you next time, and I hope you're going to love the next tutorials that I'm going to post here. Have a lovely day. Bye.